In the heart of an ancient African kingdom, where the golden sun bathed the vast plains and the wind whispered through the acacia trees, there was a tale that no one dared to speak of. It was the story of a princess, Amelia, who had lived through generations, yet was never seen aging, never seen sick, and never seen laid to rest. Princess Amelia was unlike any royal before her. Her skin, the shade of rich mahogany, had a glow that never faded. Her long, tightly braided hair cascaded down her back, adorned with golden beads that jingled with every step. Her deep brown eyes carried wisdom beyond her years, and her presence alone commanded respect. But behind her beauty was a mystery that no one understood. She never changed. In the palace corridors, whispers grew among the servants and nobles. Some believed Amelia had a secret. Others feared she was hiding something. The elders of the kingdom watched her carefully, and when her father, the great King Wandu, passed away, they expected her to show grief, to change, to age. But she remained the same, as if time could not touch her. As tradition dictated, after King Wandu's passing, his eldest son, Prince Jabari, took the throne. He was a strong leader, yet in his eyes there was always a shadow of unease when he looked at Amelia. She remained his sister, but something about her untouched youthfulness troubled him. Among the palace elders, one man named Chief Barasa had been watching Amelia since her childhood. He had served the kingdom for decades, yet Amelia remained unchanged. One evening he approached her, his wrinkled hands trembling. "My princess," he said, his voice almost a whisper, "what is it that keeps you untouched by time?" As time passed, fear crept into the hearts of the people. How could one remain the same while others withered and died? Some began to whisper that Amelia was not of this world. Others feared that keeping her in the kingdom might bring misfortune. The people loved her, but their fear outweighed their love. One night, a group of noblemen gathered in secrecy. They believed that Amelia's presence was unnatural and that she must leave the kingdom. But how do you remove someone who never seems to weaken? They needed a plan, and it had to be one that no one, especially Amelia, would suspect. The plan was set. At the next royal gathering, they would offer Amelia a drink, one mixed with herbs meant to weaken the strongest of warriors. If she faltered, if she showed even the slightest sign of illness, their suspicions would be put to rest. But if nothing happened, they would have to take drastic measures. The banquet was grand, filled with laughter and music. Amelia sat at the high table, unaware of the eyes watching her every move. As the goblet was placed before her, she lifted it slowly. The entire room held its breath. Would this be the moment when the princess finally showed weakness? The banquet hall was silent. The air was thick with tension as Amelia lifted the goblet to her lips. Every nobleman, every servant, even the guards at the entrance held their breath. Would this be the moment she revealed herself? The goblet tilted. The deep red wine glistened in the flickering candlelight. Amelia took a slow sip, and then nothing. She placed the goblet back on the table with a soft clink. Her expression remained calm, unreadable, as if she had no idea of the storm raging inside the minds of those who watched her. The noblemen exchanged uneasy glances. The herbs they had mixed into her drink were strong enough to make even the mightiest warrior weak, but Amelia sat before them untouched, as if nothing had happened. One of them, Lord Damu, cleared his throat. "My princess," he said, forcing a smile, "how do you feel?" Amelia tilted her head slightly, her dark eyes locking onto his. "I feel as I always do." A chill spread through the room. Later that night, the noblemen gathered in a hidden chamber deep within the palace. Their faces were grim, their voices hushed. "This is not natural," one whispered. "She must be hiding something," another muttered. Lord Damu slammed his fist on the wooden table. "We must find out the truth." "But how?" a nobleman asked. "She does not eat much. She does not fall ill, and now even the strongest herbs cannot touch her." A long silence filled the room. Then, from the shadows, an old wrinkled nobleman named Mzee Jabali spoke. "If she does not fall weak, then we must make her weak." What the nobleman did not know was that someone had been listening. From the far end of the corridor, behind a thick stone pillar, a young palace maid named Zuri pressed her back against the cold wall, her heart pounding in her chest. She had overheard everything. The noblemen were plotting against Amelia. She had to warn her. Zuri rushed through the palace corridors, her bare feet barely making a sound against the polished floors. When she reached Amelia's chambers, she hesitated for only a moment before pushing the door open. My princess, she whispered urgently. Amelia turned from the window, her expression unreadable. What is it, Zuri? Zuri hesitated. How could she tell a woman who never changed, never aged, that people were afraid of her, that they wanted to destroy her? They are coming for you, Zuri finally whispered. The noblemen, they believe you are not natural. For the first time, Amelia's expression changed. A flicker of something, was it sadness, was it fear, passed through her eyes, but it was gone as quickly as it came. That night the noblemen acted. A group of palace guards, handpicked by the nobles, stormed into Amelia's chambers. Their spears gleamed in the torchlight, their expressions hard. But when they reached her bed, they froze. The silk sheets were untouched, the room was empty, Amelia was gone. The kingdom awoke to whispers of Amelia's disappearance. Some believed she had fled, others thought she had been taken by unseen forces. But the noblemen knew the truth, she had escaped them. And now they had to find her. Prince Jabari issued a royal decree. Find Amelia, bring her back, dead or alive. The hunt had begun. Amelia rode through the dense savannah, her dark eyes scanning the horizon. She knew the kingdom's warriors would soon be on her trail. She had spent years preparing for this moment, understanding that the noblemen would one day turn against her. As the moonlight guided her path, she steered her horse toward an abandoned village at the edge of the kingdom, a place where no one dared to go. The village was silent, untouched for years. The walls of the huts were cracked, and vines had begun to creep over the structures. But Amelia knew the truth. This place was once home to the forgotten warriors of the kingdom. She dismounted her horse and whispered, "I am home." Back in the kingdom, Prince Jabari led the search. His warriors spread through the land, interrogating villagers, scanning the rivers, and tracking footprints in the soil. One evening, a scout returned. He knelt before Jabari and whispered, "She has gone to the forgotten village." Jabari's face hardened. "Then we ride at dawn." By the time the warriors reached the village, Amelia was ready. She stood in the center of the open ground, waiting. Jabari dismounted, stepping forward. His sharp eyes scanned her, looking for weakness. "You have nowhere to run," he said. Amelia did not move. "I never ran," she replied. Amelia took a deep breath and spoke loud enough for all to hear. "You call me unnatural because I do not fall sick. You call me dangerous because I do not grow weak, but you never once asked why." Jabari frowned but said nothing. Amelia lifted her chin. "The secret is not magic or sorcery. The truth is I was raised by warriors, ones who knew the power of discipline, the strength of knowledge, and the value of purity. While others lived in comfort, I trained. While others feasted, I learned what my body truly needed. I do not weaken easily because I have spent my life preparing for anything." A heavy silence fell over the warriors. Prince Jabari's hand hovered over his sword. He had come to destroy Amelia, but now he saw the truth. She was not some immortal being. She was simply a woman who had built herself stronger than those who feared her. The noblemen had wanted her gone because they did not understand her. Jabari looked at his warriors. "If she is guilty of anything," he said slowly, "it is of knowing what we have all forgotten." He turned back to Amelia. "Go, you are free." Amelia's expression did not change, but for the first time she nodded in respect. Then, without another word, she turned and walked away. The noblemen feared what they did not understand. They mistook preparation for mystery, discipline for danger. Amelia's story teaches us that true strength is not about magic or fate. It is about resilience, wisdom, and self-discipline. Those who fear what they do not understand will always be controlled by their ignorance. But those who seek to understand will always rise above fear. Hope you liked this story. Subscribe if you find the story interesting.